Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. And whichever platforms you're listening to this on, I want to let you know I really do appreciate you. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being subscribed. But if you are not subscribed yet, please do go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation. There's been a lot of talk about the viral clip that was featured on the Neighborhood Talk, which is by way of thegrio, with Eboni K Williams, who was doing an interview with the renowned Iyanlavanzant. And I didn't listen to the entirety of the interview that Eboni K Williams did with Iyanla, and I've heard a few different discussions where people were speaking about Eboni and basically saying things like, well, that's why she's still single all of these years and the age that she's at, and just a number of different negative things. I will never be one of those people that will sit in judgment of someone who, like Eboni, as accomplished as she is, as intelligent as she is, has not gotten married or is not in a long-term committed relationship with another man at this point in time in her life at the age that she's at. I would never shame a woman for that. I wouldn't. And I will never be one of those people that will say to someone, well, your standards are too high, or you just need to settle, or things like that. Because if that's what you want, then this is what you're going to have to do, because obviously she's made the choice not to do that. It's her life, and she has the right to do what she wants to do. I believe that she was just having a conversation with Iyanla. It wasn't like she was on a dating show or she was actually on Iyanla Fix My Life to say, I need a man and I haven't been able to be in a relationship with a man, so please help me. I'm desperate and I want to have kids and I'm at this age and point in my life. And it wasn't like that. I didn't take it in that way, but everybody sees everything from different perspectives because we're all individual beings. But Eboni, she had some responses to people that had something to say about it. So I want to play these clips because I just want to talk about this, okay? So let's just get into it.
So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus,
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. Date a bus driver.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. Again, I have absolutely no problems with what Eboni K Williams said. And I'm speaking as a woman who is married, who has been married for many, many years. And I know what I wouldn't accept. And mediocrity is one of those things that Eboni is speaking about. And so for someone to come to a woman of her stature and accomplishments, I'm just being honest, to feel that it would be okay, because let's just be clear. She knows what she was speaking about. To have a man that would come to her that would be in a place of mediocrity, and I'm sorry, with all of the opportunities that are out here in this world that we live in, for someone to think that it's okay for you to settle in a place of mediocrity, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say for someone to just settle at being a bus driver and that's it, and you don't have any aspirations of continuing your education and getting more experience so that you can, rise above that, because we're not in the day and ages many years ago where that was something that people did for many years until they retired, and they constantly got raises, and they had pensions, and they had, retirement, and you get the gold watch or whatever. Like, that's just not what we're talking about. And I believe Eboni knows that. And I don't think that it was fair to come at her in a way to make it seem as if she was stating, I won't date anyone unless they make a certain amount of money. She was thinking more in line with a person. I'm not even going to say the word that I was about to use. A person who isn't even trying, and you're settling in that state of just being a bus driver, but then you want to come and be with me and live off of me. I believe that's an unjust balance. And I'm not speaking that a man always has to make more money than a woman, because look at Candy and Todd. That's a perfect example. Candy and Todd, they have made their marriage and their relationship work. And Todd got into the relationship with Candy knowing that she was a wealthy woman before he got with her. But he was like, we can do things together. And she had her prenup on the side, just like Iyanla said, protecting what she had before he got into the marriage with her. But anything that they do together after the fact, that's what he has rights to if things don't work out. But you don't get married to get divorced, but you do protect yourself in the event that it comes to that. So that is what they have done. So yeah, people were saying negative things about Todd when Candy got with Todd, but Todd wasn't a bus driver either. He was doing things in production and doing things in television, and he met her. He was behind the scenes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it wasn't like she just got with a bus driver and said, just keep driving that bus and be with me and I'll take care of you. Because Candy wouldn't have been with somebody like that either. And so I didn't think that it was necessarily fair for people to come at Eboni in a negative way to make it seem like, well, that's why you're single and you're never you're going to die alone. That sort of thinking behind it to make her feel that she thinks that she's too good to be with someone that's just a bus driver. But unfortunately, you do have a lot of men who want to live in a space of mediocrity, and they expect a whole lot from the woman that they get with. And that is an extreme unjust balance, in my opinion, period. And again, I'm not saying that the woman should be making less money than the man, but he definitely should not be comfortable in just being a bus driver or just living in mediocrity. And mediocrity also is in the eye of the beholder. And for Eboni, if someone who is merely just a bus driver and they are not doing anything more to not just be a bus driver anymore, then for her, that is mediocrity, and that's not something that she wants to be with. So for people to try to clown her or shame her for having her standards, I just don't think that that's fair. Again, I'm just sharing my personal opinion, being beautifully honest about it, but I just can't get with the fact that people were trying to shame her for having her thoughts about it. Like, what did they want her to lie just because she was on camera with Iyanla and say, yeah, I date a bus driver, knowing that that's not what she would do? At least she's being honest. At least she's being honest about it. So she's living her life as she chooses. She has worked hard to live the life that she chooses to live. And if she is not in a committed relationship or in a marriage at this point, it is because she chose not to be. And there are a lot of women who are in marriages with men that are mediocre that wish that they could be in the position that she was in, where they were not tied down to someone who was mediocre, and they're having to pull the weight of their household, and they would rather be single and living a life that they desire to live than just having the pride of saying, at least I have a husband, or at least I'm married. And I'm just speaking the truth, period. Because as someone myself who is married, I would rather be single than to be in a marriage with someone that is mediocre and that is not doing much and that is pulling me down and not pulling their weight. That's just not something that I don't think most women would want to be in. So I'm happy that she was honest about it. I'm glad she made a response to the thoughts and comments of people. And I love what she said about, to the men who are making the comments about her. I suspect that you are a lot of the mediocre men that was made to feel comfortable bringing home C's and D's and not achieving more and not aspiring and thriving and achieving more in life and just being comfortable in the mediocrity. And I agree with her. So say what you will. I wish her much success in love and in her, in her business. I admire that. And look, you can't fault her for having the desires that she wants to have and choosing not to settle. Why is it that we expect her to settle, but it's okay for a man to settle in mediocrity and just settle with just being a bus driver? So I believe that what she meant by when she said, if he owned the bus company or if he owned the bus, I believe that's what she was speaking to. It wasn't just about the fact that he's making more money as the owner versus a driver, but it's the fact that he is not settling in just being a bus driver, but he isn't just the driver of the 18-wheeler for Walmart, but this is a man that actually owns 18-wheelers and started his own company. He is not settling in just being a driver, but he has thrived and grown into being an owner, striving to be more and not just be settling in, well, I'm just going to do this until I retire or until I die. That's what I believe that she was speaking to. Period. I believe she's a Virgo like I am, so I kind of relate in that area. So I just wanted to speak to that, guys. I'm not here to bash anybody, but I believe that she had the right to respond to it because there were a lot of people that were speaking to it and a lot of people that had a lot of negative things to say and a lot of people that were even low-key trashing her because of her age and her still being single and not being a parent at this point. And that's just not cool. Because she's made the decisions that she's wanted to make for her life, for her to be made to feel bad about those things. I just can't get with that. So I hope she doesn't really care what people have to say, but I believe that she had the right to respond since so many people had something negative to say about it. So I just wanted to speak on that. everyone has the right to their thoughts, views, and opinions. And even Iyanla, it's her opinion. It's not truth. What she's saying, there may be facts in there, but it's not truth. It's based on her opinion. And is Iyanla married? I'm just wondering. Anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. So again, this is Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.